What's going on, guys? It's Colin, and I have a very special guest with me for a dual commentary today, and this is actually probably one of the first people that I met and have subsequently become friends with on YouTube. This is somebody that I ran into playing Call of Duty World at War, and if you've watched some of his previous videos, I put up a showcase on this channel that I'll link you to as well. But I got with me today Jimmy the Snake, who's one of my favorite players to watch. He's an amazing editor, and he actually did this this nice, slick point of view edit for us. So, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. How you doing, man?
Fantastic. So we managed to actually, I think it was on my lunch hour, get a couple of games of Conquest in and do a bit of rolling. So you're running the Recon kit here aggressively. I was running Assault. I switch it up, I think, at one point and do a little bit of long-range Recon, which people might be interested to see since I don't pick that kit up often. But you know, there's a ton going on. Like, we have Battlefield 3 beta just around the corner. So I think one of the things that I wanted to talk about, other than the fact that we were kind of splitting up and just guarding objectives, playing objectives hard in this game, is, you know, obviously there's been a ton of news around the Recon kit in Battlefield 3, and it's going to have lots of useful gadgets and stuff, but the bolt-action rifles, which you're a big fan of, are not going to be a one-hit kill anywhere to the body. It's going to have to be a headshot. So I was really interested to talk to you about this as somebody who aggressively snipes very effectively in just about every game I've seen you play. So what's your take on it?
I'm a little nervous about it, but at the same time, I think that my playing style has always evolved, you know, according to what type of game we're playing, and it hasn't always. I mean, Battlefield is such a different game than Call of Duty in the first place. So right there's a lot of adapting that I had to do when I first started playing Battlefield a couple years ago. But I think me and most of the other really solid, aggressive Recon players are just going to adapt to it. Just do what we have to do, and we have the same goal in mind usually. I mean, play the objective. That's it.
Exactly. And I think the thing is that that a lot of people are overlooking is that aggressive Recon players aren't going to be disabled. It's just that the tools that they're going to have at their disposal to play the Recon kit aggressively are going to change, and the bolt-action rifle is not going to be the most effective tool. They do have a number of DMR, semi-auto, sort of designated marksman rifles in the game, and those things are really, really effective. So, you know, do you see yourself evolving from running bolt action to picking something else up, or? Yeah,
definitely. I wouldn't even go as far as saying they nerfed sniping in Battlefield 3, because again, it's a totally different game. There's going to be all new strategies we're going to have to come up with, and just that there's going to be different tools. I like options. So as soon as I see that I have different options, I'm just going to work with what I got. Yeah,
right on. So you were playing quite a bit of Bad Company 2, but you weren't posting any of it, and so why was that? You know, you play a lot of Call of Duty. Actually, like, you're one of the true gamer. Like, you play everything, right?
I try to, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
This footage right here it's console, so I mean, like, strategies differ from console to PC. Just by looking at this, you can see that I'm using an ACOG scope. It's not necessarily something I would use on PC, but I mean, we just have to adapt. We have to do what we got to do. So.
Yeah, I mean, on PC, you're not limited with the sensitivity, so you don't have the same physics and inertia on the PC that you deal with on the console. And so I find it's possible to use things on PC that you wouldn't be able to pull off on console nearly as effectively. And you know, another thing that that I've really found isn't so much that the skill level's different on PC, but in Battlefield especially, there's more players on the map, and those players are able to get on target faster. Now, you have the same advantage. You're able to get on target faster as well with a mouse, but the thing is, you kind of have to plan your routes differently. You have to be more careful in the way you approach the map. You can't stay out of cover for as long. You got to keep on the move. So, you know, it's all about adapting, and I'm really excited to play the game on all the platforms. I mean, with Bad Company 2, I mean, I just love playing Battlefield. Here, I'm actually running some long-range sniping, guys, so
I know, this is pretty badass.
Enjoy. But, you know, I'm looking forward to just playing the game, and on all the consoles, and for me, the most fun is, you know, when you're playing with friends. You know, it's who you play with, not what you play on, I find.
Yeah, it's definitely going to come down to teamwork and how you work as a group in the end.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit of the gameplay. So this was a huge match for you. You absolutely cleaned house. And what'd you drop? 40-some kills on them, I think?
Yeah, I think I just broke 40 at the end there, yeah. and it just happened as, you know, I mean, sometimes I'll get a wicked gameplay where you have a bunch of kills, you know, stuff like that, but that's not really what I'm focusing on when I'm playing. It's basically, I'm going to point A, or from point A to point B, and if there's some kills I can grab on the way in between both of them, then that's what happens, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And you actually had a pretty cool video. It was a Call of Duty domination video where it was all about playing the objective, and you managed to lead the team in points, caps, defends, and all of that. And I think you were running like the ballistic knife or something. Like it was all just about objective-based gameplay without actually firing a bullet from one of your virtual guns.
Basically, yeah, that's what I was focusing on. It was sad to actually have a night of playing like that, but at the same time, it was a challenge for me. Mm-hmm. It just goes to show that a lot of these games that we play nowadays kind of went down the crapper as far as what kind of gamers you play with. They have different goals, not necessarily to play the objective, and that's affects the team negatively. So I wanted to prove a point, and hopefully that vid made some kind of a point within the community, but, you know, I just play for fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like intense games where, you know, winning or losing is on the line and you manage to pull it out. That's fun for me. I can appreciate where some people get enjoyment out of different facets of the game, but I think that, it's just my opinion, that developers put game modes and game types in these video games so that if you have a particular way that you want to play it, in order to get the most enjoyment out of it, then there's probably a game type for that.
Exactly.
Going in and messing up an objective game mode, that ruins the other player's fun. So I think there's there's something for everyone in these games, and like when I watch a lot of Call of Duty videos like Domination, it's a lot about the kill whoring, for example, and I see that here in Battlefield as well. So I mean, people will talk like the Battlefield community is there's some elitism around that and how it's better than Call of Duty and all of this, but you know, it's people that make the game. It's not necessarily the game itself, and there are good players and there are bad players on every game, in every franchise, on every platform.
Well, that's what I especially like about the group of people that we deal with on a daily basis, subscribers that we have. You always see comments, not necessarily those elitist comments. I like those creative, constructive criticism that our subscriber base is able to give us. I almost wish that every subscriber we get from this day forward is going to be talking like that, as far as, you know, something productive to say or something encouraging to say, but you do go to a lot of videos and you do see a lot of negative things that are going back and forth, especially when it comes to Call of Duty versus Battlefield, you know, in particular. So, I mean, I try to avoid that, and I know you do as well. I mean, you're pretty much, it's a game. I'm going to play it how I want to play it. I have the same goals, you know, objective based. So you do the same thing that I do. So I just want to keep it that way.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The one thing that I encourage, because I think that a lot of people, there's been a ton of interest and hype around Battlefield 3. There's going to be players coming to the game from other franchises that have maybe never picked up a maybe even a non-Call of Duty title, or they're coming from like another franchise, like maybe it's like Gears or something like that, and they're trying a first-person shooter for the first time. It can be challenging. Like I had a fairly steep learning curve in picking up on Bad Company 2, for example, because the controls were so different from what I was used to. But what I hope people do is invest the time to learn the game, you know, be, you know, a bit of a student, I guess, of the game types, and figure out how to play it, quote-unquote, properly. Because as much as you might just have fun running around ignoring flags in Conquest and getting kills, the game can be just so much more fun and so much more rewarding when you have intense objective-based battles.
Absolutely. Where your team doesn't have to suffer, you know?
Exactly. And so you can kind of have I guess the message maybe that I haven't articulated well is that you can have the best of both worlds. You can have a really, really fun experience. You know, if you like playing for kills, there's ways that you can approach an objective game type that are going to get you lots of those kills, but you don't have to ignore the objective and ruin it for your team. Like, the one thing that I really enjoy about Battlefield, and you're a veteran of this game and also of Call of Duty, so maybe you can comment on it, but, you know, players of various different skill levels, I find, are much more capable of making a meaningful contribution in a Battlefield game than, for example, a Call of Duty game, a twitchier shooter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, case in point, I got my father into playing some video games with me lately, and he has both Battlefield, Bad Company 2, and he has Black Ops. And honestly, he prefers, and he also has Medal of Honor, but we try not to talk about that too much.
Yeah.
He prefers to play Battlefield because even if he's not racking up the kills, and he, you know, he sees that I'm doing certain things, and he knows he doesn't have to copy me. He knows he can play a certain way. He can support the team in some way, shape, or form. And I like that about Battlefield. I always like that. So I know there's going to be a spot for him and what he wants to do in Battlefield 3. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's I like the way that they've done the class layout, and I think that you're going to have a richer, deeper toolkit to work with. So there's going to be tons of different ways to adapt your playstyle. So if you're not confident running and gunning, maybe you don't have the best reflexes, you don't have to be the best shot in the world, but you can pick up a repair tool and just deal with your vehicles. You know, you can focus on strategically taking out enemy vehicles. That's a huge asset to your team, but it doesn't necessarily require the best gun skill. You know, obviously you want to be able to win gunfights on a consistent basis, but you know, there's things that you can do to make sure your team is kicking ass and winning without having a hugely positive kill-death ratio. You don't even have to have a positive KD, like to just be a beast member of the team, and just playing with people that communicate well, that are cooperative. I find that that's always the richest experience for me in any Battlefield game, and as much as I enjoy playing with guys like you and other friends, it's when, you know, random people will actually get on the mic and start talking that you have some awesome times.
Oh, so, yeah, definitely. I think it's going to come down to mindset, you know? If you go into a game saying, I want to get the most kills, I want to rack up the most points doing this, and this, I mean, maybe that's not the mindset you want to take when you're playing a game like Battlefield. You know, maybe you want to go into a game saying, I want to contribute to the team. I want to cap some bases. I want to, you know, my dad does this. He sets limits and he sets goals, and I think that's what it's going to come down to, mindset.
Couldn't agree more. I think we're kind of running out of video footage here, but I really want to thank you for coming on the channel. I've been a huge fan of your videos for a long time, so
likewise,
it's great to talk to you. Link to all of Jimmy's information is going to be all over the video and in the description, but check out his channel. I can only anticipate the cool stuff that he's going to be putting out with Battlefield 3.
Thank you very much, Colin.
Cheers, buddy. We'll be hopefully playing some beta together here in a few days.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Come to a place where we're lost. No, we're lost right now. But I'll find us.